race. It's just a little over 6 weeks for us, and it's an honor to come back and be with you and your husband and Jefferson. Study, remember? The name of the game out there. But Dr. McCoy, thank you. Not a more passionate nor direct individual from the standpoint of one of the most important things that we have to do in this this country. Hopefully the Supreme Court will appropriately and rightly use their knowledge of the Constitution and clearly state that individual mandate is unconstitutional and take out a huge chunk of that. But if not, then on my first day, I will take out probably a Sharpie. It doesn't have to be a fancy pen, and put my name to an executive order to wipe out as much of Obamacare as I can. We had a great time last night. We had it was a hot crowd. I mean, in more ways than one over at the Opera House, and there was lots of sweating going on, and a great crowd and fabulous questions. I think that's one of the reasons that people come to New Hampshire is to learn how to do it the New Hampshire way. And you all put important questions to the candidates to ensure that our party nominee is the right leader for America. And Regina Birdsell, I want to say thanks to you, wherever you're sitting, again, for your service in the State House and for the work that you do and being a part of this forum. And I've already talked about the former Lieutenant Governor of New York, but again, defend your health care is one of the great issues of our day. My wife is a nurse. Her dad was an old country doctor. Matter of fact, yesterday was his 91st birthday. And, but 50+ years he spent dispensing care, making sure that the people in that small community that we grew up had access to health care. And I am greatly concerned, as is my wife, about the access issue. And then, as the governor of a state, it's the cost issue as well. And in my home state, we've calculated the cost if Obamacare were to go into place. It is $2.7 billion more every year. And that will, California, it will bankrupt that state. I mean, you look at the cost of this health care, and as she shared with you, it's raising of taxes, and it's the idea that a bureaucrat in Washington, D.C. or an insurance executive needs to be making your medical decisions is very foreign and very frightful to me. So, Dr. McCoy, thank you for your dedication to defeating Obamacare. Now, our country's in trouble, and I don't think anyone would dispute that fact. When 1 out of 6 work-eligible Americans cannot find a job, that is not an economic recovery. That is an economic tragedy. And we're not just talking about numbers here. We're talking about our fellow Americans. We're talking about our relatives, our friends, our neighbors. But there's nothing ailing America that freedom cannot cure. And I'm going to bring back prosperity to this country by enlisting America's greatest economic advantage, and that is freedom. Freedom from too much government, freedom from too much spending, too much borrowing, freedom from too much regulation. That's what's strangling our country today. You know, just imagine for a minute, if you will, an America that can be set free. What would happen to our economy if people were freed from that onerous overregulation, onerous taxation? Employers who didn't have to get up every day and deal with this issue of overregulation. Once again, be able to invest in the economy and create jobs. Americans will be able to get back to work. Stop worrying about where they're going to meet the mortgage payment. Put food on the table. Gas up their car. Families will be able to get ahead again. They'll be able to plan for their future. And the key to prosperity is liberty. Yet the larger government grows, the smaller our circle of freedom. And it's time for the American people to be free again from this burden of big government. Freedom works. It's been working in my state for some time. My home state's not only created 40% of all the jobs created in the United States since June of 2009. But while that was going on, our credit rating went up. And I've led that state based on some very simple but powerful guiding principles. Number one is don't spend all the money. Have some fiscal restraint. Have a tax policy that is as light on the job creators as it can be. A regulatory climate that is fair and predictable. And have a legal system in place that helps you create jobs and stunts, if you will, the frivolous lawsuits. We cut property taxes by 1/3 in the state of Texas while I've been governor. We cut taxes on small businesses. We cut spending. I might add, for the first time since World War II, we cut spending, total spending, in the state of Texas. And since I've become governor, my state has created more than 1 million new jobs. And the simple story there is that freedom works. But sadly, Washington doesn't get that. They either don't get it or they don't understand it, or they intentionally don't want to release the power of their regulations and taxations and allow these states to flourish. And it's time to get America working again. We got to cut the taxes on the families and the employers. We got to freeze the federal regulations that are choking the life out of banks and in turn businesses because the credit is not available. You got to stop this generational theft. Jefferson has on his back, and all of the young men and women of this country, every man, woman, and child in this country, a debt that is approaching $15 trillion. That's over $46,000 for every man, woman, and child in America. That's the bill we owe today to pay off the debt of the federal government. If you elect me president, I'm going to promise you 2 things. One we've already talked about, and that is on day one, walking in that office, if Obamacare is still alive, or if it's even breathing a little bit, to take out that pen and completely wipe out as much of it as I can with an executive order. And the second thing is I will get up every day, go to the Oval Office, and work for you to make Washington, D.C. as inconsequential in your life as I can make it. I believe in this country. I believe in America's promise. I believe that our best days are ahead of us. I think for our young men and women who are counting on us getting this right, that they will write great stories in the history book of America of what they've accomplished. Because we, in 2012, we chose a president who truly understood and knew exactly how to lead this country forward, how to remove the burden of overtaxation and overregulation, free the small businessmen and women, and giving them confidence that they again can risk their capital. And when they do that, when they know that that environment has been built there for them to risk the capital, they will empower Americans, they will create wealth, and we will again be a country whose economy is growing greatly. We can pay off this debt. We can have a powerful impact worldwide because we again have the monetary ability to have a strong military that's going to push back on those aggressive countries like China. We can have an impact in the Middle East again because they know that we have the economic wherewithal to deal with the issues that face this country. Absolutely, our best days are ahead of us. America needs to get its confidence back. And the best way to get its confidence back is to share with small businessmen and women all across this country that no longer Or are you going to have the burden from Washington, D.C. telling you how to run your business? And we will again be a powerful economy and a worldwide impact. God bless you, and thank you all for listening.